What do you think of today's rules? I mean, are you pretty happy with them? Would you allow some of the old things that were,
Yes,
allowed back in the day? Like what?
definitely. Well, so first of all, I mean, I understand that for the sport to progress as a fan-friendly sport, there has to be some rules implemented. But it is clear to me that the sport is now leaning heavily towards favoring strikers. Like, we've got a 5-minute round, and in that 5-minute round, you'll get 2 or 3 stand-ups or separations if you're stalling.
Yeah.
So that means a grappler has a minute maybe to be able to engage with somebody, grab them, get to a good position, threaten them enough to make an opportunity to get a submission. You got like a minute to do that.
Yeah.
Total. Right? I mean, you think about it. The referee says go, the fight starts. If somebody knows you're a good grappler, they can stay away from you for 30 seconds. They can circle around and stay away from you. Then another 30 seconds of pinning you against the cage, trying to drag you down. And that might get separated and restarted. If you get them to the ground, that everybody's a decent enough grappler that they can just tangle you up and stall you out for another minute. And you might get stood up in that. So I mean, there's 2 minutes of a 5-minute round where that guy doesn't have to have any level of grappling at all. He just has to have some stalling ability, and it's hurting the grappler. So yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I would change is I would lengthen the rounds a bit, and I would completely remove any kind of stand-up. It's not fair for a grappler to strategically work his way into a clinch and take the guy down, and it takes him 2.5, 3 minutes to do that, and then he gets stood up after 15 seconds of inactivity on the ground. That's just not fair.
Yeah, I know there's different referees that feel differently about that. I believe Herb Dean's one of the guys that, lets guys stay on the ground a little longer.
Sure.
Not a big fan of stand-ups.
Right. And I mean, if you're reasonably active, it's one thing, but still, I mean, now we got to contend with the guy that is, is stalling, actively trying to hold on to you and slow you down. So, I mean, you got to deal with that, as well as a lot of our, major weapons are taken away.
Yeah.
Like knees to the head on the ground, headbutts from the guard. I mean, if you headbutt somebody from the guard, that's going to force them to move a little bit. It's another weapon that you can use. If nothing else, you can use it to score points in the referee's eyes to demonstrate that you're trying to do something. So yeah, there's a lot that I would change, but the problem is the things that I would change, I don't necessarily think would make it super fan friendly.
Yeah.
It'd be more tangled up, slower paced fights on the ground. And I know that's not what the fans want. The fans want to see 2 guys standing up, throwing bombs at each other and hoping that one guy gets knocked out.
Well, I think they would like the headbutts part, especially like Mark Coleman back in the day, man. That was a weapon.
Yeah, definitely.